Hello everybody, welcome to this video. Today I want to share a brand new experience that I had when it comes to setting boundaries. This is something I've never done before. I'm still actually a little surprised it even happened, and so I wanted to share what happened, what it was like, what the effects of it were, and just all that good stuff. So yesterday, when I was talking to one of my roommates, and living with people will show you where you're a bit weak in your energy field with boundaries. It will show you where you still have some people-pleasing tendencies. It will just show you a lot of like your subtle codependent energies that are still active in your body and your field. Living with people is super valuable. Like living with other humans is super valuable when it comes to learning about yourself and how you are in relationship to others. And so yesterday was like this really beautiful opportunity for me to step into something new. And what happened was I was sitting outside talking to one of my roommates, and they were kind of going on and on about the story. And I noticed, I noticed when I had this very heartfelt desire to connect with them, to share with them, to be with them, to connect. It feels good to, connect to other people. And I felt a lot of joy and inspiration to start talking to them. So we started this interaction. But one thing I noticed is when I sit with people, whether it's in session or just talking to them casually, I listen with my whole body, with my whole being. I'm like really present for them. And I've noticed that people tend to like that, right? They tend to enjoy being heard so fully. And I enjoy hearing people. But yesterday, I started to notice something that's happened in the past quite a bit. And that my nervous system has kind of given me signals like, hey, this isn't feeling so good. But I've just kind of, I haven't really, I just kind of like brushed it off because I didn't want to hurt someone's feelings. But yesterday was different. And what I'm getting at is, as I was talking to my roommate, her story, it was kind of getting really long, really long. And there was this part of me, and I was listening and I was there for her. But after a while, my nervous system started to register like, hey, this is starting to kind of hurt. Like, I think what I was really looking for was a back and forth, and it felt like it was just extracting a lot, from me. I was starting to get tired and drained, and so what I would usually do is I would just kind of like maybe do something passive aggressive, like at its lowest, or like I would maybe say, I wouldn't really say anything. I would just like let myself get more and more drained and start maybe resenting them, and it would just because of like this feeling of I don't want to hurt their feelings, and I want to hear them. But yesterday what I did, right when I started feeling that feeling of like, hey, this is hurting, is I just went, hey, I'm really sorry, but I can't listen anymore right now. My nervous system is hurting and I just need a break, Another thing I would do if someone just kept talking like that is I would just kind of tune them out and barely be listening. And I didn't want to do that either. So what I recognized yesterday, what happened when I said that, is I felt all this fear surge up in my body. When I said, hey, I'm exhausted. I can't listen anymore. And I said that, and I just felt like this relief. And her response was like really beautiful, and she was like understood. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I tend to just go on. And I was like, yeah, I really like the back and the forth, but that was really a lot to take in, and the nature of the story was really intense, and it dealt with suicidal dream and just all this stuff. And when you are this space who you have a lot in your field where people can feel like, oh, this won't be too much for them, when they can sense that you're comfortable with darkness, comfortable with emotional pain and stuff, people will tend to want to gravitate towards you and just like kind of put a lot on you in a sense. And so if we don't have strong boundaries as an empath, it can be overwhelming and we can get drained and exhausted like I was. But it was so interesting how I just, when I spoke my truth, how I felt my energy field just build out. Like my energy field just got really super fortified, and I felt like really powerful, and I felt good, and like my inner child was like, holy shit, there's someone here that's gonna speak up for me. My nervous system registered that, like, oh shit, there's something here that's protecting me and keeping me safe and putting boundaries up. And it was not personal. It was not like it was because of her or anything like that. It was just the nature of this type of conversation has happened a lot before, and I just haven't done anything about it. And I've kind of paid the consequences. I've felt drained after. My nervous system's kind of went into shutdown. My inner child is like, what the heck, man? But this time it was like a new experience. And I had to be willing for her to get triggered and her not to like me and her to be upset, you know? And all those things could have happened potentially, right? But it was interesting. So she just, had her response, and then we just kept talking, but it was more of a back and a forth from then on. And there was more of a balance and a flow and a harmony between us that was established. And I think some energetic boundaries were established too that will serve both of us going forward. So I wanted to make this video about boundaries because I know you all are empaths and you're all very sensitive, but you're all very giving too, and you want to hold space and you want to be there for people. But I just want you to know, like, you can listen to your own internal guidance. You can listen to your own nervous systems, your own energy fields. You can listen to your inner child. And when you feel like you're starting to get drained or it's starting to become a bit painful or imbalanced, you get to speak up for yourself. That's totally normal and okay. And you will feel a lot better after because of it. And I can even intuitively feel like even if the response wouldn't have been as positive and understanding, I could still feel I would have felt better no matter what the response was. I would have left that exchange feeling really whole and intact and in my power. And so I got to like really burn through a lot of tendencies of mine that, you know, in the past that would have gone a lot differently. I got to really learn how to step into my power. I got to really fortify my energy field. I got to do something I'm scared to do, and it's usually growth requires we do stuff we're scared to do. But it came through, and it was beautiful. It didn't have to be passive aggressive. I didn't have to leave resenting her, you know, and all of this. Like, say I didn't speak up, I probably have a lot of energy in my body that's like resenting her and passive aggressive towards her, or maybe I do things that are passive aggressive towards her in the future because of that, right? But I just got to, like, because I was like really in my truth and in my power, it got to come through in such a loving way. Like, the tonality of it was from love. It was just from truth. It was just from, hey, I even said to her, like, I got to speak up for my nervous system here. And it was just really a very charged experience, a very beautiful experience, and one I'm glad I got to have. And so I wanted to share the kind of the fruits of it with you guys. Just to let you know, you get to have boundaries. You get to be in your power. You're not here to necessarily please other people, you know, and actually you being in your power and you setting boundaries, this is actually what helps everyone the most. We all learn the most when we're all empowered beings, when we're all just speaking our truth and fearlessly sharing what we need in relationship with others. Which I know can be so scary because when we try to do it in the past, you know, maybe awful things happen, things that put our safety in jeopardy. And so we've learned that we can't speak up for ourselves, that we just have to accept the pain of certain interactions, and that, you know, we like asking for boundaries and setting boundaries, you know, might have been something that didn't go so well, right, in the past. And so it's like awesome that your nervous system, your energy field gets to relearn that there's a powerful being here, and that you are putting energetic boundaries up for it, and that your field is fortifying, and you will feel more powerful. You'll feel the desire to engage more with life, because you'll know that like your whole system and your inner child will feel safer engaging with life, because they'll know there's something here that's keeping it safe, that's speaking up for it. that's living in attunement and harmony. It's like when you start to set boundaries for yourself, you start to live in attunement and harmony with your energy field, with your nervous system. And so you feel like you can actually give more of yourself. You feel more complete, more whole. You don't feel pulled so much. You don't feel so drained. Yeah, and it was cool. After I said that, we had this really deep conversation about darkness and enlightenment, and I feel like a lot of wisdom got to flow through me after that, because, you know, I got to share what I needed to share. It was heard, it was acknowledged, it was honored, and actually the relationship deepened, because I'm getting chills as I say that. It's like you'll notice when you do speak your truth and you set boundaries, it might not flow as well as it did for me yesterday. There might be an initial upset, but over time, you'll actually notice relationships can become deeper for you with others. People will respect you more, you know, because you are someone who speaks your truth. And people can learn with you. They'll learn from you more. Because when you do set boundaries, you'll feel more integrated. You'll actually be able to, like I said, offer more, and you'll feel safer around other people, and you'll feel more rooted, like in your heart, in your gut. And like I said, you're not being mean or anything. It's coming from a place of love, from a place of truth, and from a place of kindness, and self-love and compassion for yourself. And so, yeah, I just want to share that video, or that what I learned yesterday in this video. Thank you all for being here. I'm really loving what's coming through on the Patreon page. There's the videos that are coming through, I feel, are so valuable. They've been so enjoyable to make. And yeah, I think you guys would really, really enjoy them. So if you feel inspired to join the Patreon community, I will put a link in the description box below. Your subscriptions there really, really help support this work, and they are so appreciated. I'll also put a link below for making a one-time donation, if that's something that inspires you as well. Other than that, just thank you so much for being here. I hope that this video brought you some inspiration, brought you some reassurance that you get to, you know, have boundaries as an empath, that you get to stay in your power, that you get to speak up for yourself, and that it's actually a healthy thing to do, you know, and it's so necessary to do those things when it comes to taking great care of yourself on the spiritual path. I know it's not easy, and I know it's hard. I know it's going to bring up a lot of terror, because the last time you did it was probably an awful experience. But that's why it's so important you start doing it now, so you can rewire into your nervous system and your body that setting boundaries is actually safe to do now, that it's actually not only okay, but it's essential. And that's what I got to experience yesterday, was like a rewiring in my nervous system, in my body, about what happens when it comes to setting boundaries. And so now it's like I can feel my nervous system, my energy field, a level of excitement about, okay, great, we get to set boundaries now. There's this excitement about communal living, because it's giving me all these opportunities to really refine and to deepen and to become a master at setting boundaries, a master at relating with other people. And so that's what this path leads to, guys, is mastery in all ways, not only up here, but down here on earth, when it comes to relating to other human beings. This path is about embodiment, right? And so sending you all so much love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I love your comments. Yeah, I'm just sending you all so much love, and I will see you all in the next video. Namaste.